So since the very first version of the Invincible run, I've been in love with this model from Nike. It's probably the most comfortable lifestyle sneaker on the market with the max amount of cushion. Then they released a second version that was not too much different than the first, a little bit of subtle changes on the upper, but the same exact midsole and outsole. Now I have this box right here, which is the newest version. The downside is they actually use this box as a shipping label on the box. You know, I'm kind of on the fence on that. I do like the idea that they're not wasting boxes, but at the same time I kind of like having my box without any label on it, so I'm not going to show you the backside, but it does say the Nike ZoomX Invincible Run Flight at 3. These are the sneakers though. This is the third version of the Invincible Run, and this is a completely different build, ground up build. But just because this is a new version doesn't mean it's better than the two predecessors. Honestly, I want to give you guys kind of my thoughts, compare them to the previous versions, and let you guys know what I think about the new model. Let's go ahead and get right in. What's going on, guys? My name is Hess. If you guys are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. If you guys like sneaker content, this is the latest and greatest, the Nike Invincible Run 3. If you guys do want to buy them though, link in the description, $180 on Nike's site, and you can get them in a couple different colorways. I actually really like this one, and I wanted to kind of keep it somewhat consistent with the previous version for comparative purposes. And some things I actually like about the previous version better than the new version, and then some things I actually like about the new version that the previous version didn't offer. So let's go ahead and get in some words what Nike says first about their own product. With maximum cushioning to support every mile, the Invincible 3 gives you your highest level of comfort underfoot to help you stay on your feet today, tomorrow, and beyond. Designed to help keep you on the run, it's super springy and bouncy, so you can propel down your preferred path and come back for your next run feeling ready and reinvigorated. A combination of tuned support and intentionally placed cushioning helps your feet feel secure in every step. The Invincible 3 has high support technology with cushion and stability intentionally placed and shaped to protect your foot from the effects of pronation. Nike ZoomX foam is ultra responsive and lightweight, giving you bounce and a snappy response every time. And what's new about the Invincible 3, it says we made the heel clip smaller than our previous iteration and placed it in a more precise location. A wider midsole adds stability. Taller foam stacks help our previous versions raise the bar on cushioning and comfort in a more sleek looking design. These weigh about 11 ounces in a men's size 10. That's a lot of information. When I pull these out of the box and you just give a look over of the shoe, it is definitely a ridiculous stack of foam on the midsole, and I love some of the changes that they made from the previous. The upper is different. It's like a kind of a more shinier upper, and it's definitely like more rigid to the touch. So I don't know if I love that, but it does say it's durable, so there could be some pros there as well. I also like the addition of the Nike swoosh across the toe box. It is a nice placement. Personally, I like Nike branding, so what better place to have it right on your toe when you're looking down. And then also the insole says, smile for your miles, just do it, and then ZoomX, just do it on the other. I like the intentional branding there. Again, just do it. The outsole traction is separated in 3 places now. Previously, it was one large traction pad, but it looks like they actually made the traction a little bit thicker, which is actually nice. The shoe in general, when you put it on, of course, you're going to get that Invincible Run comfort feel. If you've never tried on the Invincible Run, you really need to give it a try if you like max cushion sneakers. Talking about huge foam stacks of ZoomX. ZoomX is their softest foam that they have on the market. It's softer than React. It's softer, obviously, than like the older Lunarlon. It's softer than pretty much anything, and it is pretty lightweight as well. It's incredible stuff, and for the longest time, it was only on the elite running sneakers at about $275 price point, and now they trickled down a little bit, and even though this is a more expensive model at $180, it's nice that they have the full-length ZoomX available in different form than the previous years. So to compare the previous model to the new model, I just wanted to give you guys a couple different things about each of them that I like better than the other. The first things first, the new ZoomX on the new version I really like. I like that they decided to do a different type of midsole. I didn't like that they used the same ridges and stuff on the midsole as like something that they've used on the Infinity Run and other knockdown versions of the Nike React models. This isn't Nike React, it's ZoomX, so don't sculpt it like Nike React. In the Invincible 3, there's no market confusion here. It looks like a different model, and they put it nice and proud right here, ZoomX on the side, so you can't confuse it with the other technology on the market. And this is a superior model, and you should actually showcase that, and so I'm glad they did that. They added a heel pull tab on here, which is actually really nice. For somebody that's a little bit older like myself, having the ability to hold on to the pull tab and then slide it on, it's a plus, man. It's a little small adjustment, and it's actually welcome in my world, so I'm glad that they added a pull tab. It's the little things, I tell you. Also, as I mentioned, they revised the traction, and I like the new traction a little bit better than the previous as well. I do like the full coverage of the previous version, and honestly, it wore really well, but on the new version, it is a little bit thicker, and it does feel like there's some nice rigidness on the bottom of the shoe. It feels good on the bottom, and I actually like the improvement. Now, a couple of things that is weird about this from the previous version. As I mentioned, when I put it on, it was actually a little bit more narrow feeling in the forefoot of the shoe than on the previous, which is really weird because the base is actually wider than the previous version. And the only thing I can think of is they actually took the same exact size of the previous model's upper, so it looks like this on the previous model, and now that you have a wider base on the third version, it stretches it out like this, which means the forefoot on the top, it actually presses down and compresses on the top of my foot more than on the previous version. Even though they gave us a wider base, feels like they needed to add a little bit more material to the upper to make it so it's more domed like instead of just pulled down closer to your foot. That's my experience. If you guys have a different experience, leave a comment in the comment section, but I immediately noticed that as soon as I put it on feet. Also, the comfort of the shoe as you put it on your foot. On the midsole, absolute improvement. On the upper, it felt like it was a step back, unfortunately. The upper is rigid. The material itself is rigid. It has a different sheen to the upper as well. It doesn't feel like flying it traditionally. It says it's reinforced and it's supposed to be stronger, so maybe again it's a plus long term, but initial impressions, it's like, whoa, this isn't as soft as I would like, and it feels a little bit tougher than I would have wanted. But really the part that aggravated my foot was the stitching right here at the bottom of the tongue. On the inside of the shoe, you can actually feel that stitching here, and it kind of compresses on the top of your forefoot. So that matched with the material that stretched outward over your foot instead of domed over your foot. It's a kind of a bad combination for me, at least, where it felt a little bit uncomfortable in the forefoot of the shoe. I didn't have that problem on the previous version. The sewed down tongue right here on the inside of the shoe, it doesn't feel as severe as on the newer version. Also, the tongue cushioning does feel better on the previous version as well. But back to the rigidness of the shoe, it's not just the upper that feels more rigid, it's the eyelets as well. This is very, very rigid, very tough, and then also the laces are even more rigid than the previous version. And lastly, the fly knit collar around the heel cup of the shoe, it's nice up here, adds a little bit of extra protection, but honestly, again, it just feels a little bit stiff. So you hit it the wrong way and it's definitely stiff at the very top. And one other thing that I found very interesting is the overall distribution of the foam. I would actually say, this is weird to think, I actually like the older version a little bit better than the new version. Even though the foam stack on the third version is bigger and hypothetically better, I did notice that the stability is actually impacted a little bit more than on the previous version. It was really interesting when I tried one of each shoe on and then I tried to roll my ankle outwards. I felt more unstable in the new version than the previous. So obviously it's a bigger foam stack than the previous version. The midsole on the sides are somewhat comparable, but the butts of the shoes are definitely way bigger on the new version. And I think maybe it's just a sculpting, or maybe it's just less rounded. But I definitely noticed you rotate and then it pops. So there's a spot where it could potentially feel like you're going to roll an ankle to some people. But again, as you guys are wearing these through the year, leave a comment in the comment section. How right or wrong am I? Have you worn these with no issues of rolling? I'm suspecting that's going to be the case. There's not going to be too many issues of that, but there might be some. And the previous version, I actually feel like the stability was a little bit better than the current one. So just throwing that out there as well. So I've given you some pros and cons about the shoe. Is it a buy or not? Well, obviously it depends on you guys out there. If you like max cushion sneakers, if you want the latest and greatest, if you like the style of this model, personally, I actually really like the look of the new version versus the previous version. Even though this new upper actually introduced a couple issues that I didn't find on the previous model, it doesn't mean it's a no-go. Like, by far, it's a really, really comfortable pair of sneakers. And you might not actually notice any of the issues that I noticed on the upper. Your feet are different than mine. Mine's a little bit wider. Ultimately, it's still a really, really comfortable shoe. The midsole is excellent. The shoe is max cushion to the T, and it's going to be a top 5 contender for most comfortable sneakers for 2023 already. It's only February and we have some excellent new footwear for your feet. I'm definitely glad that I bought a pair. Definitely going to be keeping them in rotation. Going to be wearing them in a little bit more, see how the upper feels over a longer period of time. But ultimately, it's a buy in my opinion. At 180 retail, it is a little bit steep. If you can buy the previous version for under $100, which I posted many times on my website, Collective Kicks, as well as on Twitter and Instagram. If you don't follow me on social, it's always in the description of the video. Please give me a follow. I always post them when they're on sale. But these are excellent. If you can buy them under $100, is the best bang for your buck at that price point for the most part. But if you like the look and the style of this one more than the previous version, it's definitely a good buy in my opinion. But if you guys do want to buy a pair of these, I have them linked in the description. It will take you to Nike's website. You can make your purchase, and I do get a little bit of a kickback if you guys do that. It does support the channel, so it's greatly appreciated. But ultimately, it's a pretty awesome pair of shoes. Nike's doing some great things. I really, really want to see Adidas bring a Light Strike Pro version of this shoe. Adidas, make it happen. You need a wider bodied pair of sneakers with your Light Strike Pro, because it is really, really good. It's just as good, if not better, than ZoomX from Nike. So it's some incredible stuff. Also, if you guys want to see me compare these to the New Balance Super Comp trainers, those are absolutely incredible for max cushion as well. And then Nimbus 25s from ASICS are out as well. And I have a video coming soon for those, and I can do kind of a comparison between some of those models because they're really, really good. All of them are really, really good. So yeah, there's some differences here and there that I like a little bit more or a little bit less on some of the models, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on those if you guys want. Leave a comment or a like on this video if you guys want that. But thank you guys for stopping by and watching. Hopefully you have a great rest of the day, and hopefully we'll see you back on the channel for some more of my content soon. All right, peace guys.